Hi, and welcome to the 2022 Economic Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. I had a bunch of technical difficulties, so I'm having to do it this way instead. But anyway, we're here and we're live in the studio here. Once again, this is the live question and answer session here. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on the 2022 Economic Preparation Channel here. I want to start off by saying that I appreciate your support. We're back. We had some technical difficulties in the studio, and so I'm coming just in plain face here. Live question and answer session. We're going to be talking is going to be affecting us coming up in the upcoming week, and we're also going to be talking about answering your questions and answer sessions. Now we have another question and answer session that should not have technical difficulties. That is on Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. There'll be another live question and answer session. So today we're gonna have the first question and answer session, and then on Wednesday night, hopefully, the kinks will be worked out in the studio here. As you can see, I had a bunch of technical difficulties with my live stream, and I had a nice background and everything. But we're gonna move on with that. And thank you for joining me tonight. Here, this is Tony. I'm your host for tonight's program. Question and answers, please leave one in the chat or questions in the chat as appropriate, and we will get to the case. So first, I want to say a big shout out to all of my fans and support to you guys. We're going to be talking about a few things here. Hyperinflation is continuing to rise, as you know. The inflation numbers came out, and the latest inflation numbers show that we're at officially 8.6%, on the way to 9 and 10% as predicted last month. And so this is a question and answer session. I want to see what tips and tactics are you using to cut costs, household costs, to cut costs nationally, as we all try to weather the storm here with not just hyperinflation, but with other things that are coming on as well here at this time. And so we're going to continue here to do that. So this is a live question and answer session. Please leave your comments and concerns in the chat. I just want to briefly come on and share with you some of the news is here. And this is just not something to affect the U.S., but it's also the U.K. is experiencing slowest growth of all developed countries, according to the OECD, the Organization of Economic Countries for Development. So the UK is experiencing similar prices. Petrol prices there are approaching $10 US dollars a gallon for unleaded. And so all of this cost is going to be effective immediately, is affecting all of us financially and on the financial stream as well. So once again, this is a live Q&A session here. It's 8:33 Eastern time. On the West Coast, it's what, 4:30, something like that, Pacific time. I just want to come on and give a live question and answer session. There will be one on Wednesday night at 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Wednesday night there will be a live stream again, question and answer session. Hopefully with that, not too many technical difficulties here. But we have inflated grocery store prices that continue to rise at Costco, Walmart, Save a Lot, Sam's, you name it, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Kroger's, all of our stores, Acme, all of the stores continue to experience supply shocks, and the supply shocks will continue through 2022 through into the beginning of 2023 here. So we're going to continue to see these supply shocks that are going to be coming in, guys. And the question is, when is the inflation going to let up? Is it after the midterms? Is it before the midterms? Does it continue throughout the whole term of 2023, 2024? And this is the kind of questions that we have to ask ourselves. So if you have any questions, guys, about hyperinflation, about consumer spending, the debt loads, stocks, bonds, investments, I'm not a financial planner, but if you have any questions or concerns, please leave those in the comments. We had technical difficulties with tonight's live stream, but once again, for those just coming in, we have a live stream coming again on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That will be a live question and answer session again. Additionally, what we're seeing is shrinkflation in the grocery stores and the hardware stores and other stores. They're giving you less package and they're still charging more prices for that, for the same goods and services. And this is not just in the US and UK. This is in Australia. This is in Japan. This is in Singapore. This is in all the developed countries here. So if you have any questions or concerns about hyperinflation, consumer spending, stocks, bonds, real estate, please ask them in the chat. This is a live Q&A session. We'll have another one for those just coming in on Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern time. There'll be another live session without technical difficulties. This one had technical difficulties, so I had to come to you like this. I had a nice background and all of the things to show you, but we're having technical difficulties tonight, so that's okay. I want to come on and talk to you guys. We do have inflation. We do have a Federal Reserve meeting coming on Wednesday time frame. On the Wednesday time frame, once again, this is when the 50 point to 75 basis point will rate hike will be made in effect. So once the 50 to 75 basis rate hike comes again, there'll be another rate hike scheduled for July, interest rate hike that is, and this is going to affect mortgage rates, loan application rates, and everything. As you know, we're already over 6% with mortgage rates. We had the congratulations to all the kids graduating. I want to say congratulations to our STEM graduates, our regular graduates in college and graduate schools. Hi, James. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate your support. Once again, we'll have another live question and answer session on Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern time, and hopefully that one will go a little more smoother. So once again, we're talking about hyperinflation. We're also talking about the graduates that are coming into the market, the job market. We added 200,000 fewer jobs in the month of May, and the pace is slowing. And this is according to CNBC, MSNBC, BBC, and Fox News. They're saying that the pace of hiring is slowing down significantly. And so, you know, for our generation, what is it, Generation Z and our Generation Y and our millennials, they're having a hard time switching jobs or moving up in the ladder, as you know, a lot of our older generations and the Generation X, baby boomers, etc. And so, yes, I agree. This is going to be really, really bad times, James. I agree. 70 style and hyperinflation was extreme. I don't think our Federal Reserve Chairman has the guts is going to pull up the Paul Volcker style up to 20%. But mortgage rates back then in the 80s were easily 10, 12, 15% on a house. And now, you know, we're just now crossing 6%. So we are in for some pain. Even President Biden admitted that a couple of speeches ago. He said that we're in for some pain. And we're seeing that now at the pump, at the grocery store, with hardware supplies. You know, everybody talks about being a prepper. And the number one thing that people overlook is water, a clean access to water. We're so thankful, we're so blessed that we have clean access to water in this country. You can't live 3 days without water. And so this is very interesting here. I think James has a question. He says, I want to ask you, do you think our country's headed for hyperinflation or hyperdeflation? By no means an economist, a regular guy going to work to pay his bills. James, same here. Look, I'm by no means a financial planner or an economist, but I think that we're heading for a mix of both. Look, there's going to be hyperinflation on everyday supplies that we need, food, water, transportation, utilities, etc. But there's going to be massive deflation coming on assets. Like it could be the housing bubble pop. It could be assets, you know, that we need: land, oil, tractors, you know, you name it, stuff like that. It's going to have, that's not coming until after everyone has spent all of their money on the essential goods, unfortunately. And you know what that means? Again, the top upper 1% will have money to clean up on these massive sales after the carnage has been done, you know, 10 to 12 years. So very good question, James. It's going to be a mixture of both this time. The Great Depression, as you know, in 1929, that was an inflationary depression too. But we've never had, the reason why it's going to be a mix of both, because this is going to be a worldwide event, James, not like the event that we had where we had, you know, just the United States and the Dust Bowl was affected. This is going to, imagine a worldwide Dust Bowl where food crops are affected, the climate's changing, housing. We have 8 billion people on this planet almost. And the housing and the resources in terms of water, oil, and food, those three primary resources are not a renewable resource in a lot of parts of the country and of the world, I should say. And so that's an excellent question, James. We're going to see hyperinflation in the essential items, massive deflation in the assets, crypto, stocks, bonds, deflation in cars. Used car prices they're going to go down. Right now, they're peaking now. We're coming up on the crest of the wave. Used car prices are going to go down in late 2024, 2023. So that's what we're going to see. But unfortunately, it's going to hurt the everyday people like us that are paying our bills, that are working, that have the majority, you know, of equity, homes, and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, we're going to pay the price because we've waited so long to raise these interest rates that even the 75 to 50 point basis hike is not going to be enough to quell the fires of hyperinflation that we're seeing right now. So, guys, it's not so much that the prices are rising, is that the currency's devaluing. The dollar, remember, the dollar has been the number one king reserve currency for what, over 85 years now. It's coming to the end of its life cycle. Now, whether that happens next month or next year, that's up to debate. Any great question, James? Questions that anyone else has here tonight? We're talking about hyperinflation. We're talking about the debt load in America. We're talking about the Federal Reserve meeting coming up on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time to raise interest rates another 75 basis points. which is going to do more damage to this economy, as you know. So we're heading towards right now, we're in the period of hyperinflation. We're going to hyperinflation, but there's going to be a stagnant period because we're seeing job growth come down. What I mean by job growth is the creation of new jobs, whether or not they're retail or whatever, is coming down. We're seeing that now in reports of MSNBC, other reports. We're also seeing worldwide in the UK and other countries, they're struggling too with the same thing. The European Central Bank says they're raising rates. Japan said they're raising rates. Everybody's raising interest rates, and everybody's in massive debt right now. And so things are going to continue to get worse as we continue to go on. And that's why I say that our country is in bad times right now, because this is the way things are going on. So we're gonna have to continue to be vigilant, continue to prepare ourselves, because right now, another thing, guys, I want to ask you: the average national price of gas is $5 a gallon, and what I'm seeing in a lot of these communities is a lot of people are trading into big 4x4 trucks and different things, and they're getting like Honda Civics or EVs or Toyota cars. Have you been seeing that in your community? Let me know. I've been seeing a lot of that. A lot of people are trading into big 4x4 trucks, utility trucks, for something a little less gas hungry. And I've noticed that people are also carpooling a lot, carpooling to work, carpooling to other places as well. I've noticed that a lot. Let me know what you're seeing in your neck of the woods. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing people are carpooling. I'm seeing people are taking more breaks, vacation breaks, and things of that nature. Any other questions and that you have concerns about this economy and what we have coming up this week? Like I said, I mentioned the Federal Reserve meeting. I also mentioned that there's going to be the housing numbers. We're going to mention the earnings season. The earnings season is coming out on Thursday, I believe, and the jobs report is coming out on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Those numbers from Wall Street are coming out, and I don't expect much to change. I expect there to be more, less jobs available, but more applicants applying for these jobs. And a lot of the jobs we know right now is going to be remote connection jobs, remote automation, computer tech jobs. Those are still going to be there. The rest of the jobs are not going to be there, as we know, are going to be in a different format, I should say. And then I want to know your thoughts about a cashless society. Can you survive in a cashless society where everything is digital on the computer? What would that mean? Could your money just disappear off the screen if someone wanted to? Is it hackable? All of these questions we have as we head toward a cashless society. What does that mean for America as they fit into a globalism economy? Because right now we're moving from globalization now to individual countries protecting what they have in terms of natural resources and things. So the last 25, 30 years, we were in the globalism economy with the NAFTA free trade agreements and all of that, the South Pacific trade agreements, all of those things have been put into place. Now we're moving into protectionism, where each country is protecting what they own, and they're protecting, their resources. And so this is going to become very dangerous, a very trying time period, because now we have to rely on our individual ingenuity to survive. So let me know what you think about that. Any other questions you have and concerns? Once again, we're going to be going live again on Wednesday. For those who missed this stream, we're going to go live again, live Q&A session on Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern time. We had technical difficulties tonight, but I just want to come on tonight and share with you, answer any questions or concerns you may have. It's so good to see everyone in here once again for this live stream. We've been talking about hyperinflation. We've been talking about the rising gas prices. The summer forecast does have gas prices, the national average, eclipsing and 50 cents a gallon for a regular unleaded. I'm not talking about the high test unleaded. California is already there. We know you guys are there, but the rest of the country was still approaching $4.99 or $5 a gallon in a lot of these other towns. So let me know what you think about that. Also, let me know what you think about Janet Yellen. She says she was wrong on the inflation numbers. Mrs. Janet Yellen said that she thought inflation would be cool, that it was transient, quote unquote. And now she came out and said last week that, look, I was wrong. It was not transient. So let me know your thoughts on that. James says that he has next week his house will be sold in Southwest Florida. He wants to get out of Florida because the taxes, insurance is incredible. Insurance would have been 300% in the past 3 years. Well, yeah, Mr. James. James, you're absolutely right. Taxes, and don't forget the hurricane insurance in Florida is going up, guys. Because regardless if you get a hurricane or not in Florida, they're going to go up on insurance on that. So, and there's a lot of insurance fraud that's going out with payout claims and all that. That's another subject. But guys. So and in that area, we have that going on too. And there was fraud going on with a lot of the PPP loans and idle grant loans too that you guys know about too. And you've seen the report with Wells Fargo and the fraudulent accounts that they were creating as well. We're going to see all of that come out, guys, in the fall. And so the writing is on the wall. Exactly. If you have a two properties, a timeshare or something like that, you want to downsize, you want to sell it, get rid of it, I'll say do it in the next 2 years. I'm not a financial planner, but as we get into this inflationary bubble comes to the crest, you want to be lean and small. And because even if for those of you that are fortunate enough to have a house and don't have to pay exorbitant rent, the mortgages interest rates are going up. So, but the thing about that is, at least you have a steady payment, a steady mortgage payment. But like James is saying, the taxes and the insurance payments are going to go up too, because these cities and counties and municipalities and townships are going to be broke. They're going to be stressed for money too, because as more people lose their jobs, as more people, leave the cities and go further out into the suburbs and hinterlands, you can already see the writings on the wall. That's less tax base for these counties and cities and townships and parishes and municipalities. Okay, so this is coming to a head, and the president knows that. He knows that crime is going to go through the roof in a lot of these cities and towns. Look, I was in the big city. I was in Atlanta. I lived in Florida. All these big cities. And crime, when people can't eat and when they can't buy purchase these things that they want to purchase, like spare vices, whatever it is, when they can't purchase that, that's when crime is going to go through the roof and writing is going to be on the wall, as James said. I'm glad you got a tiny home. That is excellent. That's another thing too. A lot of people are looking toward alternative living structures where they don't have to be under these super high taxes, property taxes, like in Texas. People always say, well, the property tax in Texas are like 60% higher than everywhere else. So everybody always says that. People say, oh, I'm getting out of California and I'm moving to Texas or Arizona. Yeah, but they don't tell you about the property taxes and the insurances and all kind of stuff, the fees. They're going to get their fees. The city, the county, and the state are going to get their fees, and the federal government is going to get their fees regardless of the situation. So yeah, James, I agree. If you can get a tiny home or RV, something where you're paying less housing costs, because housing costs are over 50% of most Americans' paycheck, whether it's monthly or bi-weekly, housing costs are huge. Do you guys have any other more questions for me or concerns? I definitely appreciate you guys being in here tonight. Once again, I'm Tony. Once again, we're going to have another live session on Wednesday night at 7:30. For those of you just coming in here, again, I'm doing 2 live sessions this week in addition to the regular video. I'm sorry for the green screen in the back. I had a beautiful background and everything, but I had technical difficulties getting the live stream key into YouTube or something, and it just wasn't working. So I had to go with the webcam here that I have available, the backup cam. So anyway, so any questions? We talked about the hyperinflation in here in the UK. We talked about hyperinflation in Europe, in Asia, in Australia. All of this thing is crazy. This is unbelievable here. I'm telling you. And James has been exactly right here. I recommend getting a scooter. James says, I agree. You get 70 miles to the gallon. It's very efficient. And it is just something that's crazy. I would get a scooter. I recommend getting a Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla, anything that you can get mobile and portable and out of debt at this time. It's okay to have credit cards. I'm not against that or anything like that. It's okay to have that. I'm not a financial planner, but you want to be lean and small as these prices continue to rise. In a hyperinflationary environment, it's good to have assets like houses, land, cars that are paid off. It's also good to have, some stocks and discretionary stocks. And what I mean by that is companies that people are going to need, like water companies, toilet paper companies, food, and stuff like that, food companies, things like that people are going to need. So it may dip in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to grow. Any more questions anyone else have here for tonight? Once again, we're going to meet again on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time for a really live Q&A when I have the background, I have everything. But right now we had technical difficulties. I appreciate James, you coming in here. I appreciate everyone else coming in here. We've had some other things too. I want to talk to you also about the world economic slow and growth. Right now, the GDP for the world GDP is forecast to only be 2%. Okay. And the reason for that is the America's leading the way. We have $30 trillion in national debt. And how are we going to pay that off? And the way I think the Federal Reserve, in my opinion, is going to pay it off is through hyperinflation. Inflate the currency, the prices on everything rise, the debt level rises, so that basically we can cancel everything, start over, and bring in the digital currency or the CBDCs, the CB docs that everybody's been talking about, the special drawing rights. Okay, that the U.S. dollar will no longer be the world reserve currency. So let me know the thoughts on that. If the U.S. dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency after this election term, after we go through another 2 or 3 years, what would be the currency, and how, if we go to a cashless society, guys, what would that mean for the United States, as we become so used to a certain standard of living? If that standard of living falls or drops, how will we be able to handle that? Because the other countries, the BRIC countries that we talked about, Brazil, Russia, India, China, they're on the rise. Okay, they're people, they have starting to get a middle class, starting to be on the rise. What would that mean if the United States and Europe and the UK and other countries develop, and the nations in the G8, their standard of living falls while the developing nation standard of living rises? What does that mean for us, guys? How would that affect us on a daily basis here in America? Could we handle that? We only have what, 335 million, 340 million strong in the US, but other countries, they have a billion people in India, 2 billion in China, a billion in Africa. Things are looking very, it'll be a big reaction. They have a billion people in India, 2 billion in China, a billion in Africa. Things are looking very, it'll be a big reality check. I agree, Rusty Rod. So this is what we're facing. And the thing about this, guys, is this is a marathon, not a sprint. I wish it was like a recession. By the time the media tells us that we're in a recession in this fall, which they're going to do, watch, when the kids go back to school in September, they're going to say, oh, you know what? We've been in a double dip recession. We will already have been in a depression. Everybody will have already spent their savings. Credit cards will be maxed out. Gas will be what, $6, $7 a gallon by then. Interest rates more on mortgages will be 8% by then. I mean, this is going to look really ugly. The good news is, when we go to the grocery store like Kroger's and Albertsons and Publix and Walmart and Sam's and all these places, things are still stocked. When we go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware, True Value Store, things are still stocked for right now. That's the good news. The shipping containers are still coming over to the US. That is a blessing. Okay. Things haven't stopped completely, but things are getting, because how are truckers affording diesel right now at 6.35 a gallon, 6.40 a gallon for diesel? To transport these goods to Walmart and all these places. How are things going on? Goop says, have you heard of the tampon shortage? Apparently there's one right now. No, I have not. I knew they were going to come up with but that's a good question. Tell me more, because we've had what? We've had baby formula shortages. We've had toilet paper shortages. I've heard of something about aspirin shortages in Canada. They were saying they were running out of Tylenol for kids in Canada. So yeah, this tampon shortage, apparently there's one right now. There's gonna be that's the thing, and that's the thing that we stress here is, guys, we have to stay prepared, because we need to prepare for all of this, because you never know what you may go to the store and run out of. It could be toothpaste, it could be anything, it could be something that you need, duct tape, it could be uh food, rice, it could be beans, things that everybody stocks up on. And once you say it's too late to get it, once the power goes out and there's some kind of brownout or blackout, it's too late to say, oh, I need to get candles or lights or anything like that. So that's a very good question, Goop. Very good observation there. I've not heard of tampon shortage, but do you know what state that? That is, oh, canned goods too. Yeah. And that thing too is, guys, get the easy can, because sometimes if you don't have the ones if you don't have a can opener, I know, like, I had can opener, cheap ones, and they break sometimes. I just get the easy cans that they pop up with the no lid, the easy cans that open when you just peel them back manually. So get those canned food goods, and also Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, which you guys know. And then, of course, a lot of our grandparents learned how to can vegetables and can fruits and do a dehydrator. So I'm not good at canning, but what I got was a dehydrator, the dehydrators, and you can do dried fruits and trail mix and make your own trail mix and stuff out of granola and dried fruits, dried mangoes, dried things of that nature. And it's excellent. It's excellent nutrition, excellent hydration. Yes, raw material Goop, yes, it's gone up. That's what they say, but there's some greed mixed in there too with everything, because price gouging. I know in Florida they had to pass a rule about price gouging on the gasoline and everything. Governor Ron DeSantis said that he's going to catch those who are price gouging on gas and everything. And so we have to see what happens with that. But that is something too. They say it's the raw material. Yes, I agree, Group, that the raw material prices are going up extremely high. And that's another thing too. The input, the price of soy, the price of corn, the price of oil, the price of the commodities is going up, a Goop, and you're absolutely right. And that's going to cause a huge domino effect in everything else in the economy. And this is what we're seeing. This is what we're facing here, guys. We're facing a domino effect of commodities going up, oil, food, soybeans, all of that, corn, wheat. you name it, gold, silver. Only thing is not going up yet is gold and silver. And I've been wondering that too, guys. Have you wondering that too? Gold and silver should be breaking out. If we're heading to a hyperinflation environment, why is it that gold and silver have not breaking out to some 2,000, 3,000 level that that's supposed to be breaking out to, right? If this is supposed to be the ultimate hedge against inflation, one of the reasons is I'm with Warren Buffett. He says they're not, gold and silver doesn't make you any money. It's just insurance against the worst case scenario after the collapse. So right now it's not going to do that. So yes, Goop, I agree. The price of raw materials is going up. And another thing that's going up too is people's lack of patience. I mean, you be on the road and these interstates and people are like cutting each other off and beeping and everything. And just there's a lot of impatience I'm seeing now in the world. And it's all due to the stress of trying to make it. You know, everybody's hustling and bustling, whether you're working from home or have to drive into the office or pick up kids. There's a lot of pressures on a lot of people because the price pressures are going up and the paychecks and a lot of the organizations are not going up. Overtime is drying up in a lot of the different jobs. So we're in a catch 22. Now it's a blessing that we can prepare every week, and so that's what I said. Yes, the people are driving like maniacs. I agree, group. That they're going even, and the thing is crazy is that I'll be on the interstate and they be going like 85, 90 miles an hour. And it's like gas is what, $5 a gallon or $6 a gallon if you got premium. And you're just burning it faster because the ethanol in the gas is at 15%, which is like they're watering the gas down with alcohol. So it's even burning faster, even if you're going the speed limit. The gas is burning out majority of these 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder engines even faster. It seems like, so it's just, and then to go faster on top of that, it's ludicrous. So, I just kind of make essential trips. Like I go to the grocery store, to the bank, to work, and maybe to the park or some gym or recreational thing. But I try to combine trips so I'm not out there too much because it's starting to get very hectic and very dangerous for a lot of people. Even if you are prepared, physically or security wise, it still is dangerous for a lot of people, and it's a big responsibility to be out there, be caught up into something that you don't want to be caught up in. You know what I mean, guys? So um just be vigilant out there. Any other questions, guys, that you have for me tonight? Please, I just want to make this too long. I know we're going almost on 30 minutes here on the live stream. There will be another live stream on Wednesday night, guys. This is going to be the most important one because this is after the Federal Reserve meeting. I'm going to try to start around 7:30 at 8 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday night with the full live stream. I'm going to have the background and everything. Once I figure out the technical difficulties here that's going on with YouTube, I tried to look at the help section, but so I had to broadcast on my webcam, my backup webcam, instead of the main studio would have the green screen and everything. So just bear with me, guys. But I'm so glad that I get to talk with everyone here. Let me know in the comments what topics you want me to discuss on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll be on then again. These are all great questions here that I've got tonight from James and Goop, Mr. Goop, and Rusted Rod as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Once again, be vigilant, continue to prepare, and always, be safe. God has our back as long as we continue to prepare, and He's going to watch over us and our families and our friends. And as long as we share the knowledge that we have with you and others, that you have with others, and I share the knowledge that I have with all of my neighbors and friends too as well, and we're going to be okay. So that's the good news. So one more thing I did want to touch on too is to watch out for the money, being spent for these different wars in Ukraine and different things like that. Remember, we've given a lot of aid packages to them and other things too. So watch out for that this coming month, toward the end of the month, how much more aid packages we're going to give to those countries and other countries. Goop says, how much longer before gas is $10 in Cali? It's almost at $7 here. Right, I know. Listen, I'm in the Northeast and we're at 5.11 a gallon here in Philly, almost higher than that. Goop, it'll be not much longer. We're talking about, I'll give it another 2 months. I tell you, when the kids go back to school, by August, late August of September, early September, we probably will be at $10 a gallon in Cali. In Mendocino, California, they were already at $10 a gallon, I think, for super premium 93, but that was just in one area in Mendocino. But yeah, Goop, it's gonna be it's gonna be a mess. And so you can imagine that people are gonna drive. That's the spirit of America. People are gonna drive here no matter what. It's $4.99 restaurant. Yeah, exactly. It's $4.99 here where I'm at. It's $4.99 in the Northeast. It's $4.99 a gallon for regular. I bet you tomorrow we wake up, or the end of this week we wake up, it's going to be like $5.05 a gallon for it changes daily, guys. We've never seen this before where gas is changing daily. And guys, let me just emphasize that the gas stations don't make but 3 cents or 2 cents off this gas. They make the majority of their money when you go into the convenience store and buy those snacks and everything. So they don't make the money. That's the facts. Okay, I just want to clear that up because people say, "Oh, the gas stations are gouging." They don't make any money off the gas. They make cents off the gas. It's the gas companies that make the money off that. They make the money off the convenience store when you go in there and buy the chips and dip and the sandwiches at Wawa and all that stuff and whatever you have at your place or the 7-Eleven. So that's why I want to say that. So, but very good observation, group. Part of it is greed, part of it is supply because we don't have the pipeline over here that they supposedly didn't go through, guys. So since we don't have our own oil pipeline and drilling, we have to depend on Iran and the countries that they say that we don't quote unquote like, but we got to depend on them for oil. Okay, and that's fine. I'm not political. I'm just saying that that's what it is. We didn't want the pipeline here, so the prices are going to continue to go $10 a gallon by the end of August and maybe later than that. Any other questions you guys have before I call it a night here? Once again, I want to tell for those just coming in, thank you. We're going to have the live stream again on Wednesday night. That's going to be a full live stream, 7:30 p.m. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Oh, you're welcome, Goop. Thank you so much for joining. Goop, Rested Rod, James, everybody in here. Thank you so much for joining tonight for this live stream. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but like I said, Wednesday night will be a much better night because we're going to have a full show and I'm going to have everything available to me once I figure out the technical difficulties. I'm new to this live stream, so I had some technical difficulties. But those are all excellent questions. We know that food is going to continue too. One thing I want to ask you too is, are you cutting back on meat? I know I'm cutting back on some meat products because food has just been absolutely horrendous. The prices of food have been horrendous. Every time I go in, the food on eggs, meat, bread has gone up by 20% every month that I go into the grocery store, and I'm getting the same items. I know you guys feel the same way. We're getting the same items. We're getting less of the same item, but paying more, 20% more every month on food and on utilities. The good news is that utilities have been somewhat stable in terms of, in terms of like electricity, and I haven't seen huge jumps in that yet. But once again, for some of you guys, in hurricane season is coming up. Once we start getting into the brunt of hurricane season and the brunt of winter, then we can test on whether or not energy costs are going to go up with utilities. We haven't seen that yet, thank God. So, be on the vigilant on that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys on Wednesday night for the live stream at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'll try to send out another reminder or announcement. And if you have any other questions really quick before I go here in the next minute, please send them in the chat and I'll get to them right now. We have 1 minute remaining in our live stream. So I just want to get to any other questions that you may have or concerns. Thank you, Rested Rod. Thank you, Goop. Thank you, James, for all being here tonight. And this has been very valuable information shared here. Once again, you want to continue to prepare. Think about the things that you can get at the dollar store before things start going crazy, because once they tell us on the news that we're in a recession, it's already too late. It's already going to be too late to do too much about it. So we want to be ahead of the game. We want to be proactive, not reactive, and that's what we want to be in the name of the game. Well, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next stream on Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern time for the next live stream on Wednesday night. We'll have the full stream, everything available out in the studio. So thank you very much. Thank you. You guys have a blessed one tonight. Be safe, get a lot of rest, and let's get ready to start another week successfully, God willing. Thank you.